Hello, this is Scott Carpenter, and welcome to another edition of Sasquatch Awareness Project. Today I'm going to tackle the subject of are the Sasquatch dangerous? And if you've been watching my channel for any extended period of time, you know that I've addressed this on multiple occasions, but we're going to revisit it for the purposes of this study on my book, Sasquatch Awareness Project. And first off, let me say that I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm going to give you my opinion based on my experience, the experience of others, those I've talked to, and the study in the subject, and other accounts as well as my own. And also with the knowledge of what the Sasquatch creatures are, which is a human hybrid. And on a spiritual level, they're a Nephilim, a crossbreed between fallen angels and human beings, and they're the descendant of the hybridization. So that lends them to be exposed to some very dangerous things. And then if you interact, you're going to be exposed to those things. So the short answer is, are the Sasquatch dangerous? Yes, they can be. And you always have to remember you're dealing with a sentient being that has will, intellect, emotion, motives, desire. They're just like us as far as their makeup. Of course, they're hybrids and they have other abilities and knowledge that we don't have, but at the basic level they're a human hybrid, and they have all the same emotions, wants, and needs that we have. And so when you encounter one, you don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what their frame of mind is. You don't know whether they're on a hunting party, whether they're in a war with another clan, whether they've just been attacked by a fallen angel or some sort of demonic force, whether they're in league with demonic force or fallen angels and on a mission to do something. You don't know that. You don't know, are they happy, sad, mad, glad? You don't know. They're not going to communicate with you. And if they do, it'll probably be through mind speak, and it'll be directed to the point about what they want you to do, or an indication. And I hope that never happens to you, but if it does, I would recommend that you leave the area immediately. But the main starting point is they don't have a sign. I've said this many times. They don't have a sign across their chest that says I'm a good one, or I'm a homicidal maniac. And like I said, they're not going to talk with you. They're not going to interact. So when you encounter one, you don't know. And it is in the realm of like having an encounter with a bear, a black bear in the Smokies, as far as it's best to back away and don't run, don't be over aggressive. Just back away slowly and leave the area. That's the best way to handle a Sasquatch encounter. Don't try to talk to it. Don't try to wave at it. Don't try to take pictures. Just slowly back out. Don't turn your back and run. I would back out. Keeping facing towards it until you got it in a position where you could turn and briskly walk away. Uh, but a lot of people get very upset about this subject. Many people, there are people I know that have had long-term relationships with some of these clans, and that's what they want to do, and that's fine. And, everybody each their own. I'm not trying to say you can't. You're grown adults out there. I'm going to give you my advice based on my knowledge and experience, and if you choose to do something else, and just be careful. But they get upset because well, they never harmed me or they never done anything to me, and that's true. And there are Sasquatch out there that have saved people's lives. They've taken wounded people or hurt people, back to civilization or to a road. They've sheltered lost children and brought the children back. So, but I take all that with a grain of salt, because I also know there are Sasquatch that have more than likely terminated people, killed people. And so, what's it doing? A case, I know of a few cases in the military sense, and where the Sasquatch have basically gone rogue and gone become what's the word I'm looking for? That they started eating people, cannibals, and they had to be taken out by military organizations. So, and I have two instances in two different parts of the country with two different families that have given us that information, and that's fantastic, and I can't believe that, and you don't have to, but I'm just I have the information and I'm giving it to you. And something, like I said, this is one of those areas it's a difficult pill to swallow. But if you're someone who's new to this, who's had an encounter, who has had things going on, and you're wondering, should I be scared or afraid? I think it should be respect. Yes, these things can kill you. They're very powerful, but just like a black bear can kill me, it's very powerful. Just like a mountain lion is, could kill me, very powerful. You respect them. You are prepared as you can be. And when you see one, you just leave the area. That's the best thing to do. Don't try to approach it any further. Don't try to be violent toward it. Just leave the area the best you can, as fast as you can, without panicking or running. I know that's easier said than done. And it's not, and every situation is different. And later on, I'll get into other ways to deal with the Sasquatch that have been successful for me and others. But right now, I'm just dealing with are they dangerous? And like I said, they can be. And the thing about it is, you must make the assumption, that they're dangerous. You just can't, especially if it's the first time, or you just had an encounter, or you experienced them. And this is my opinion. This is my humble opinion. You need to look at this encounter as, like I said, a bear encounter or something of that nature, and you need to remove yourself from the situation as soon as possible. You don't need to stick around. You don't need to chase after it. You don't need to try to figure it out. One of the things that also that people need to realize is that with the Sasquatch, they're a different sort of being. They think differently than we do. Their culture is different. Their mindset is different. They don't view us like we're equals. When I'm dealing with somebody and I'm talking to somebody, you know, and let's say I get in a conflict with that person, an argument, or disagreement, whether it be a family member or, you know, out in the outside world where it's someone I don't know and there's some situation where we're arguing. Never does it cross my mind that, well, I could just kill them to deal with this. You know, that's not, that's not how we are. We value human life. And but with the Sasquatch, killing you is on the menu, and that's a hard pill to swallow. But it is. Killing you is on the list of options for them. Now, it may be down number 50. With some, it may be higher. But killing you is on the menu of options if they encounter you in a situation. That's when they're going through their minds what they're going to do. That's there. It just is. That's the way they are. That's the way they think. They do not value human life the same as their own. They see us, many of them see us more like we would see a deer or a raccoon or some other animal. We're on that level. So we're, our lives are expendable. And so you've got to remember that. Another thing you've got to remember about the Sasquatch when you're considering are they dangerous, is they are a spiritual being. They're physical, but they're also very tied to the spiritual realm because of their lineage, because of the fact that they're an offspring or what's the word I'm looking for? My mind sometimes gets late at night and I can't think of anything. But their lineage is the cross between a fallen angel and a human female. Now it's several thousand years removed, but that's still their descendants. That's the word I was looking for. They're descendants of that couple, and so that it makes them not human. They do not have a human soul, and with that comes some curses and some exposure to the satanic and demonic world. And you don't know what influences come with them. You may be dealing with a Sasquatch that has a good heart, or wants to be good or is good, but because of what they are, they could expose you to all kinds of other dangers, all kinds of other satanic and demonic influences and things. And it can happen, and it will, because it's happened to me and it's happened to others. It's called it's been the phrase that's been coined for that is called the hitchhiker effect. And it usually only happens when you're seeking them out, when you're aggressive as far as wanting, you're wanting to have an encounter, you're desiring to have an encounter with one, to find one, and that desire is a spiritual thing. So that desire opens the door, and the rule set says, okay, if you seek me out, I can seek you out, and that's what will happen. So you have to be very, very careful. And once that door's been opened, you can't close it. I'm, a prime example. I opened that door. I was ignorant of the way things worked. Didn't realize it. I got followed home. Stuff started happening around the home, and then other things started happening that were paranormal and non-Sasquatch related, and so I had to take the spiritual route of rebuking to remedy the situation to at least keep them off my property. But it never, it doesn't stop them from following me. It doesn't stop them from coming in to the outskirts of that bubble of about 300 feet, 100 yards. So, be very careful there. I've only known a few instances where they followed people home that didn't seek them out. They had an encounter and then they showed up at their home. It's rare, but it has happened. But 98.9% of the time it doesn't. So you just have to be very careful when dealing with these creatures, because you just don't know. That's the problem. You just don't know. and therefore I've got to put them in, the category of, yes, they can be dangerous. And you know, you say, well, did all your, you were a researcher for 10 years and did all these things. Yes, I did. And I've suffered the consequences of that. And I've put myself in danger many times. By the grace of God and His protection, I'm here to be doing this video. There were some close calls along the way, or I felt like close calls, from Dogman 3 or 4 feet behind me to mock charges to, UFO encounters. I could have gone, if not for the grace of God, I could have been disappeared on multiple occasions. And so the way I look at it is, it's best not to put yourself in that situation. And especially your family. That's the big thing here. Is there are many in this community or in the Sasquatch world that want to say that they're a bipedal ape, and this is watching is something the whole family can do, and it's a family activity and that sort of thing. And in my opinion, it's not a family activity. It's not something you need to expose your children or your wife or any of your relatives to. It's just not. Serious as I can be. If you need to go play golf, or go fishing, or go camping, do something else. The odds are of you having an encounter are slim, very slim, and so just lead your life and be aware that they exist, know they're out there, and know what signs to look for, and then avoid them if all possible. And that's kind of my advice there. But I wish it wasn't so. I wish, in a perfect world, it wouldn't be dangerous. They wouldn't be dangerous, but they are. And like I said, the fact that we don't know them, we can't know them, we can't know their motives, we can't speak to them, and the fact that they have exposure to these demonic, satanic influences and forces because of the fact that they're not human, fully human, they don't have a human soul. And so they were created, by the coupling of fallen angels and human women. And and they're descendants of that prodigy. You just can't, I wouldn't say they're unredeemable, but they're just, satanic, demonic in nature. That's just the way they are. And regardless of how they act around you, always be aware of that. And you should never, if you're not into the research, don't get into it. If you've had an encounter, don't go back out looking for them. And if if you're, of course, but that you should, you shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be fearful either. You should just have a solid respect for them, a healthy respect for them. Be aware of their signs, and then avoid areas that have heavy signs. So so you don't have an encounter and you don't run into them, and don't go seek them out, because that's when you start getting in trouble. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers that question. Like I said, I've done videos on this before, and again here with the Sasquatch Awareness Project. In my book, I broach the subject. It's only a couple, 3 pages. I'm short and direct about it. Don't get into great detail because the book's not meant, it's meant to be a primer, to give information for, for someone who's just had an encounter, or for someone who's, wanting to educate themselves. And so, but I've gone a little bit more into detail here, and I've touched on subjects that are probably, you're probably asking 50 questions. Well, what's an Nephilim? What do you mean hybrid, human hybrid? What do you mean fallen angels? What do you mean demonic influence? What do you mean, I'm on the, kill him, he's on the menu. What's that all about? And those things I'll get into deeper later on in the series. But for now, just know that in my humble opinion, and the way I look at the Sasquatch is, yes, they can be dangerous, and you need to have a very deep, profound respect for them. And it's one of those things you don't need to mess with. As my mom said, you don't be messing with that now. But I hope that helps. I hope that I don't want to scare anybody. Please don't be scared. I can't go in the outdoors anymore. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just like a bear, just like a mountain lion, just like a wild hog, you need to be aware that these things exist. They're out in the woods. They can be dangerous, and you need to take the proper precautions. And you need to, if you have an encounter, then you need to, like I said, back out and leave immediately. Don't get aggressive. Don't try to chase them. Don't try to communicate with them. Just, the best thing to do is just back out and leave. So with that, we'll go on to our next subject. I wanted to mention real quick, shameless plug or whatever they say. I've been working on this guy for almost a year now. It's a special edition of Nephilim Among Us with big pictures that you can actually see. I've really cleaned them up. I've really worked hard on the graphics and getting the artifacts out and getting it where it's clear and you can see. I've showed this before, the camera's backwards, but I'm about this right here is my final draft. I got one thing on the back I got to correct. I put AM, the is capital, but other than that, and I've already got a method where I can ship these. I'll have to direct ship them, but you can order them and I can ship them out. So I can, like I said before, when you do something this big and glossy and large, you're going to, the cost is always becomes the issue, but I'm going to be able to keep the cost down pretty peaceably. And I've added some extra chapters and added some additional information and pictures and other things that have happened since the last one I put out, which was the updated version. And I wanted to put something out like this that was big and large because I've got a lot of people ask for something like that. Several people, and I said several, dozens. So that'll be out soon. And there's my shameless plug and commercial. Just be careful out there. Appreciate everybody and the prayers and thoughts, and people send me emails, and I'm going to try to get back into the emails again and responded. For those who've emailed me, I apologize. It's just, it's been doing my thing and, living life and a job and family and holidays and trying to do content. It's a lot. But I promise you I'll get back to checking out those emails. So I'm going to stop rambling, and until next time, y'all be careful out there, and God bless you.